Hello, everybody. This is Jordan Yates, and we are back for another episode of Failing for You. But this time we have two guests. We have Amy and Mike with Shopfloor Coffee. That's right, we are talking coffee today, but don't worry, we are still staying on brand for being a little industrial. And, I love caffeine. I love coffee. So this is very exciting for me. Amy, say hello. Then Mike, you can say hello.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be here. Jordan, thanks for having us. Excited to share what we've got going on with coffee.
Hey, Jordan. Love that you love coffee. We're going to keep everybody caffeinated today.
Mike, I love that you love that I love coffee.
No, it's a love fest here.
Yeah,
it's so much love, guys. But I realize whenever I have two guests on at the same time, if I just say hello, then it'll be like, they'll look at each other like, you say first. So I've learned, just tell people in order how to say hello. So gotta be a little bossy when I'm hosting two people. But nonetheless, we have a cool story to share with you guys. Now, as we've all established, we love coffee and we are all in the industrial sector. So we kind of like that too. That is sort of where Shopfloor Coffee was born. And I'm not going to tell the story because I don't tell it well. So which one of you is going to step up and tell the listeners about this really cool coffee brand?
Sure. I'll get it started. So Mike and I have both been in and around manufacturing for years. My background was in additive manufacturing. And we were sitting around talking for one morning on how do we give back? We attend these events. We continue to hear that workforce development is an issue. And where is that future workforce going to come from? And so we were sitting around going, how do we give back to the community? And we were drinking coffee. So it just was a no-brainer that everybody drinks coffee. And this is a way and a catalyst that can help the community. And it also just generates community engagement. People want to chat while having a coffee. And how many times do you reach out and go, hey, you want to join me for a cup of coffee? Let's go connect. So it just was a really great way to do that.
Yeah, no, I love the idea behind it. But of course, with any organization, especially anything manufacturing related, there is a lot of logistics that go into it. And we are plagued by an industry of entrepreneurs. I myself am one. Mike, I know you for sure are one. Amy, beyond this, do you own any business, do any entrepreneurial type things?
No, this was kind of my first forte into a business.
Welcome to the chaos.
I've always been interested in how can I start something and really get it going. But this is kind of the first one. And it's definitely a learning curve, but we're having a lot of fun doing it. And, there's a lot of learning to go along, including all the fun stuff like insurance. Like, really, who has to sit and talk about insurance? But it's needed. So, it's navigating that whole process of starting a new company.
Absolutely. Mike, how has it been being somebody who has started their own company and lived the entrepreneurial life? Have you been able to guide Amy at all and be like, finally, someone gets it. All this stuff sucks. What's it been like from your end?
No, well, first of all, Jordan, so back to the kind of the origination kind of story portion of it, I really had to twist Amy's arm to be the boss. It was really tough. So she was, she jumped right into it. And she has managerial experience, so it was no big deal jumping into it from that perspective. But yeah, the ups and downs, the roller coaster kind of lifestyle of entrepreneurship is not something that until you dive into it. Like you had mentioned, it's like a commitment. It's a lifestyle. It's almost like you got to be in it to know it and to realize what actually it's all about. So, we have the challenges that everybody else has with starting something. But with coffee, we're learning that it's the community, not only the manufacturing community and who we're trying to support and what we're trying to build upon is super supportive. But then also the actual coffee community, it's like a completely different experience than anything that I've ever been involved with. So just to give you an example, people are willing to, from a manufacturing perspective, okay, let's cut it down to that so everybody gets it. So, you know, you produce coffee, you do the beans, you do the roasting, you ship and fulfill orders. Okay. But there's different companies that we're working with that are all super laid back and willing to work with each other. It's a little bit of a hippie style type thing, and everybody's super cool and fun. And it's been a real joy to start this thing up. Honestly, it's been relaxing to a certain degree, but then, you know, the ups and downs of everything that come along with it and the organization. And Amy mentioned insurance and things that you got to deal with. That's just kind of the detail portion of it. But overall, it's been a great experience. The exposure that we've had, the support that we've had has been like unbelievable.
Can you remind me how it is that you guys met? You said you came up with the idea over a cup of coffee, but how did you originally meet each other? Like, how do you fit into each other's lives?
Amy?
So, well, Mike and I are dating, and so that's how we started. Like, we haven't really announced that to people yet.
Oh my God.
So yeah, we
This
met.
is a dating podcast now.
So we started dating and had been together for a while, and we were just having coffee in the morning one morning, and that's how it kind of started. So yeah, Bumble's how we met. I mean, how else do people meet now?
That's how I met my boyfriend. So, you know, I get it. But that is so much more exciting. I'm even more pumped for this episode now. Okay, so Shopfloor Coffee was truly born out of love. So you guys dating, you're doing this together. That brings up a so much more interesting dynamic that I have lived myself, which is having a business with your boyfriend. Oh my gosh. Like, how has that been going? Like, that's a totally different dynamic. And people don't talk about enough how stressful it is to date the person that you do business stuff with, because you have to be in business mode and then, you know, relationship mode. What's that like for you guys? If you're comfortable talking about it. I know it's probably not how you anticipate the episode to go, but I'm totally curious.
But no, that's great. So, I mean, I think it has ups and downs, just like any business does. You talk about things, and sometimes there's challenges with when do you shut it off? Because you don't, you know, your work and your life all are merged together. And so it's how do you set almost boundaries so that you still have more of that personal connection time versus always talking about work. So I think that's one of the things that we're also working on, is just trying to figure out how to find that balance and make sure that we're trying to connect in the right way and talk about things. I don't know. I mean, it's just ups and downs with any business, any relationship, but we're navigating it really well, I think, and getting through it.
I would just
Mike,
add,
you should just nod and agree with everything, because the woman's always right?
Yeah, of course. Of course. Yes, dear. No, I mean, to add to that, I mean, we try to communicate, and things get challenging from time to time, just like any other relationship. But I mean, we have this other kind of portion that's added to it, which is, you know, we keep saying the word challenging, but it's also very rewarding, and like the ups and downs of things. And then we have some success, and it's like even better. And then we have, you know, we did have some disagreements about things, but the communication is the biggest portion of it that I feel that we are learning. Like, we're dating and we're starting a business together. Like, how do we don't know what the other person, like, I never worked with Amy in the past, so I don't know how she works, but and she doesn't know how I work, and we're figuring that out, and like clearly defining roles and how that kind of works itself together. And you know, we've taken some steps that I think are really, really positive as far as how she mentioned, like, separating, you know, work and personal life. I think we've taken some really good steps and figured out ways that we can do that. Did we figure it out right away at the beginning? Heck no. Do we fight a little bit? Yes. Are we getting through it? Yes. And it's super, it's super, I keep saying like the word rewarding, but it is very rewarding when we do have small victories and we do have some success with things, it's just like that much more brings us together, which is really fun. It's really good. I'm curious, Jordan, what about you?
Oh boy, I'm a psychopath. So my poor boyfriend. So he's an attorney, and so he does like, he helps me with more like the business side of things. And at first he wanted to be really involved, and then he realized that I am just the bossiest person ever and I like things a certain way. And so we've kind of over the past year and a half gone to the point where we're technically partners, and he like gives me some advice here and there, but operationally I just do everything, because for our relationship it was better that there was more separation, and I become very work obsessed. And so I would say I was bad at getting to the place of learning how to do it in a healthy way for my relationship. So we were like, let's just like operationally keep some space there, but not any reason for him. It's me. It's all me. I need to learn, but also like he loves that I bring in all this extra money for my business. And so as long as the checks are coming in, he's like, you're clearly doing something right. I don't understand what you're doing or how you're doing it, but he's finally just decided he doesn't need to understand. And that as long as like it's not taking over our lives and I'm bringing money in, then he's excited. Like when I'm like, babe, guess how much I made for doing this? And he's like, no way, that's awesome. So it has shifted a lot. Like at first we're like, let's be 50-50, split everything, split responsibilities. And then as we got through, it's like, let's do 80-20, let's do 99-1. Like it's definitely hard, especially when we first tried to launch the business. I worked for a company who had a very strong non-compete. So we literally filed the LLC, spent $350. And then I told like my company about it, and they're like, no. And so they're like, if you do this, we'll sue you, blah, blah, blah. So like we were all excited. We had this like customer is going to give us like $5,000 a month. And then immediately it was shut down. And that was so hard because it was so intertwined into our relationship, like the business was, that like it caused issues with us, because it was like I felt like I failed him because I like got him all excited, but then I didn't do my due diligence of reading my contract thoroughly. And so it was things like that where it's like business wise we differentiated a lot. And so when it came back a year later, when we like, tried it again and I was at a different company and all of that, it went a lot smoother as like I've learned my lessons. And needless to say, it was messy and it was a hard learning curve. But after about 6 months, it smoothed out. And now he's just very supportive and hands off. So it's not easy, friends. And that's why this is failing for you, because we're just upfront about that shit.
Well, it's funny, Jordan, when we first started dating, because Mike already had in supply and I was working with other companies at the time, I go, we are not going to work together. I made it very clear right from the beginning, we are not going to go into business together. And then here we are, we started a business together. And so it's just funny how everything has evolved. And again, we're, you all navigate all the challenges that come with it. And, it's an interesting perspective when you are working with your significant other. So.
Yeah, my accountant said I shouldn't, but whatever. What does he know? But he's like when I was filing my taxes, he's like, "Oh, it's just your boyfriend? Yeah, you shouldn't be in business with your boyfriend. You need to get rid of him right now." And I was like, "Well, what if we're gonna get married?" And he's like, "You never know what's gonna happen." I'm like, "Okay, chill out. I'll deal with it later." But like, it's funny the feedback you get from people, and they're like, "Well, if you're not married, then how do you know they're serious?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, just shut up." So yeah, we're here now, and back to Shopfloor Coffee, guys. Yes. Let's see. So you had to get the logistics going. You had to do like the manufacturing side of things. Walk us through that, because I've never owned a business that sold physical products. I have no idea what goes into that. That sounds really hard and I'm terrified of it. So tell us what that was like to develop a physical product.
Mike, do you want to kick?
I'll take this one. Yeah, I'll take this one. So we tried to find something that was kind of turnkey, to be honest with you, that was kind of simple and easy to get started pretty quickly. So we had the idea in September of last year, somewhere in that time frame. I don't remember the inception date, to be honest, but it was somewhere around that time. But in preparation for October, which is manufacturing month, we wanted to have something prepared and ready to go. And we're like, okay, this is last minute. What the heck can we do? So we're like, well, whoa, there's some weird noise. Sorry. we wanted something that was easy kind of to put together pretty quickly. So
Uh-huh.
I had been studying up on um, like drop ship opportunities and
Yeah.
what we could do with that. And so we said, hey, we can start a dropship coffee company pretty easily. You set up a Shopify account, you set up a drip shipper account, you do, they pretty much handle the, um, I would say some of the marketing, but then also the fulfillment and the actual production of the coffee. So we
Mm-hmm.
set that up. It didn't take very long to actually get that set up and done. And then for the most part, we had to do some marketing and brand development, but like which included labels and doing some artwork and things like that. And from that point on, it was just pretty much, hey, let's click a couple buttons and we have a business.
Yeah.
And I'm leaving out some of the details, obviously, but it was kind of like that. It took us about a month and a half. Amy did a ton of work getting it set up to do that and to make that happen. But since then, we've developed that, and now we have a whole bunch of other opportunities to kind of streamline the supply chain so
Mm-hmm.
that we can support higher volumes and so that we can support different sales channels that we're trying to get into. So it's really becoming more of a product based in a production type of environment that I'm kind of used to in manufacturing, because now all that stuff is kind of coming in house. And we'll have some bigger announcements in the next couple of weeks once this
Yeah.
airs, but that's all kind of coming up.
So it makes a lot of sense from a like business point of view to do the drop shipping, to do the more like hands-off version. But what about when it comes to quality control? Like if you like have issues with the coffee, things like that, is there ever like
Yeah,
a point where you want to, like have your own facility where you make it? I mean, that's so expensive though. Like where's the line between like
yeah,
feasibility economically and then
yeah.
wanting like full quality control?
I mean, everything that's written into the contracts that we have with the from Shopify basically on down the production, the supply chain is written to provide those quality standards and that quality control. Now, if we
Mm-hmm.
decide to, make it all in house and do that, first of all, the capital investment and the actual money that it would take, we'll have to get there, and hopefully we get there at some point. Right now, it's not doable. But to do that, then it'll take on a life of itself. I mean, then it'll be
Mm-hmm.
a real kind of in-house manufacturing type of environment that we'll have to deal with all that stuff. But I think, the way we're looking at it is we have one of the things that we wanted to definitely do is right now we're working with a company out of California that does the the production, the roasting, and the fulfillment, and
Mm-hmm.
we're looking to move that closer to us so that we can have a little bit more eyes on everything,
Yeah.
which is part of the program, which is really cool for us, and that's kind of upcoming news that'll be happening very soon.
How hard is it to like find somebody to do that kind of stuff? Like what's the process like when you look into that situation? In case we have any other coffeepreneurs out there that want to get involved.
Well, yeah, I mean, so going from the drop shipping model to a more, I'd say, standard production and manufacturing type of model, we've had to do a ton of research, a ton of homework just to find people that actually do that type of operations, those types of operations. Um, but it's a pretty tight and small community, and people are
Hmm.
definitely willing to help find and source these types of products. Not only the like from the raw green bean to the packaging and to the marketing um, portion of the business. But there's very specific types of companies that do that, and just to find them, I mean, to Google search something like that is it takes some craftiness to be able to find it and then rely on people in the network to be able to do that. So, yeah, there's some challenges with it, and then with everything else, like any sort of supplier, they want to see numbers. So, okay, what are your numbers? How are you going to hit these numbers? Okay, our volumes and our MOQs start at X, and we have to be able to provide some sort of data and some sort of proof that we're going to either be able to, first of all, that we have a plan to do it, and then how are we going to execute on that? And we've been able to put all that stuff together, which is pretty cool. And we owe a lot of that to our backgrounds, but then also to the manufacturing community and how, the support that we've received, not only from like manufacturers, but, they want to buy some coffee, and that's great. And we want to support that. And our biggest goal is really to be the coffee supplier for manufacturing facilities across the country. We want to be that for everybody so that we can get back to our mission, which is to give 20% of proceeds back to manufacturing workforce development programs.
I love that. That sounds very aspirational and exciting. And it sounds like you guys, from an operational standpoint, have kind of, you figure things out, you're moving, you're grooving there. But when you first start a business in any world, any life, you know that there comes the point of, okay, how do I make money? How do I find people to sell to? And that's when marketing comes in. Now, you guys recently started working with MFG Tribe, which if you guys didn't know that, you're clearly not on LinkedIn and you're not in our network, because if you were, you would see that Kyle and his team are posting everywhere, making fun reels with Shopfloor coffee. So talk to us about how you guys came to the decision of it's time to outsource some marketing because we need some help. What'd that look like?
Yes. So being two people, there's so much that goes into figuring out the operational side, the supply chain, the business end, figuring out insurance, accounting, all of those types of things. And well, both Mike and I have a background in marketing and have some knowledge. We need help. We can't do it, everything from website development to creating campaigns, doing all the recorded videos and stuff. MFG Tribe is just the expert. Like, they know what they are doing and how to reach the right folks within the manufacturing space and industrial sector. So it was just really kind of an easy decision that we need someone that knows this audience, how to get in front of them in the right way, and can provide, show the value of what Shopfloor Coffee wants to do for the community. So it was great. And they've been wonderful to work with so far, and we're having a ton of fun with them.
Yeah, I remember last February of 2023, I was probably like 2 months into my business, and I'm basically like the most like baby version of what they do, like, industrial type sector marketing, things like that. And so I met with Kyle, and of course I'm like, oh my God, you're like the grown-up version of like what I'm trying to do. And he walked me through it. We did a podcast together. He took me through his operations, got to meet his team. And I was like, oh my God, your customers are so lucky. Like, I just want to give you my customers because I feel bad I'm not as good as you are. Like, it was just so cool. And like, I feel like I learned so much from him. And so, plug to him, if you guys need some like very like awesome marketing, like, yes, I do that, but Kyle's also awesome. So I'm glad that's worked out well for you guys. And I guess you've had to kind of, up your personal brands a little bit too. Can you walk us through what it's been like posting this stuff on your personal page? Were you ever nervous to like associate yourself with something before there was success? Like, what did that look like?
Yeah.
Hey, Jordan, can I just step in here just for a second?
Oh, what was that?
Oh, I was just going to say, if you don't mind, I'll just step in here just for a second because I want to add one thing about Kyle and the team. So I've known Kyle for a bunch of years, which fantastic human being, first of all, and super nice and willing to help us out with whatever that I've asked for, or, we've helped each other out over the years. But it was really like a no-brainer for us to start working with them because of their industry knowledge within the manufacturing community and how they've developed from starting out in the upper Midwest and now being down in Texas and taking it to the next level with MFG Tribe. And it, like I said, it's been a no-brainer for us to work with them because of the quality and the consistency in which they do their work. And what a pleasure. We've just spent, as Amy mentioned, we spent a couple days down in Texas with them over the last couple of weeks. And we've had so much fun working with their team. and the quality is there. So I just wanted to add that they've been a huge supporter and a huge asset to us as well. So it's just been a real pleasure working with them.
Shout out Kyle. This is a love fest today. Amy, back to telling us about, I mean, God, I just named this episode Live, Laugh, Love Coffee, More Love, Manufacturing, Love. Be the best episode title for SEO. But Amy, tell us about when you started posting on your personal page about Shopfloor coffee.
Yeah. It's nerve-wracking because you're putting out a new brand and trying to kick something off and hoping people have positive reaction to it. So personally, it's nerve-wracking. I've also not been huge on my personal social media presence. So trying to figure out how to navigate that is something very new for me, and trying to figure that out. But it's amazing how receptive people are to ideas and what you're trying to do, and the encouragement that you receive from the community. Like, there's just so many great people, and there's really great interactions. And I know that I need to do a better job of interacting with others within social media and within chats and certain things, but it's just incredible how positive the feedback is. And then as you start seeing, oh, I had this many impressions, you're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea I'd be able to get that. And so then you get encouraged, and it just keeps growing. You keep wanting to do it because, again, people are so positive for the most part. I mean, there's always some, but it's been a fun experience, but I have a ton to learn. So if anybody has advice on things we could do different, love to hear it. But just new for me.
No, it's funny talking about, needing to like interact more and things like that, because sometimes it's so much work to literally just put your content out there and then to follow up. Like, I added you to that group chat, and like I haven't responded in like a month because I've just been busy with my new job. I've been busy with my business and like life, and sometimes I just don't have it in me to like respond to messages, and I fall super behind. And it's like, it's important, but damn, like, we're doing the best we can. So like, as long as you're trying, guys, like, give yourself a break if you feel like you're not doing it all, because it's hard to do it all. But if you're struggling, get yourself a cup of Shopfloor coffee and it'll keep you motivated and going. It's hard to not want to sell this. It's like, it's just so easy to plug into everything. But we're getting towards the end of our time. So I just kind of want to like reiterate again, like, Mike, you did a good job of, sharing the goals. But Amy, what are you hoping to see moving forward? And do you have any like call to actions to the listeners?
It comes down to buy coffee so we can donate to the community. That's really what it comes down to. And we hope and we want to provide the best coffee that you can have. So or that we can provide. And so hopefully you'll enjoy it and continue to support us. And then we're going to keep supporting the community, giving back, figuring out how to navigate, how to make the best impact that we can. So that's it. It's pretty simple. Our mission's pretty simple.
I like it. I like a straightforward mission. And guys, we'll put all the links and everything in the description below, so you can go get your own coffee, so you can get your mom coffee, your dad coffee, your siblings coffee, your dog coffee. I'm just kidding. You can't give dogs coffee. I learned that recently. So yeah, anybody that needs coffee, we'll give you the link for that. And we'll also link Amy and Mike's LinkedIn, so you can connect with them and see what they're up to. But Mike, any parting words from you?
Hey, Jordan, just thank you. It's been, we've known each other for a little bit now, and you're awesome. Thank you. You developed such a great following in a group, and the content that you're creating is awesome. So thank you so much for the support. Everybody just go out and buy some Shopfloor coffee, give back to the community a little bit, and we'll keep rocking and rolling.
Amazing. Well, guys, thanks so much for coming on. Everybody, thank you so much for listening to another episode of Failing for You. This was fun. I like having two guests on because I don't have to talk as much, but I still talked a lot because that's my thing. But yeah, anyways, as always, I'm your host, Jordan Yates. And in the meantime, I'll be failing for you, and go buy Shopfloor coffee and drink lots of coffee. And yeah, coffee. Bye-bye.